welcome to the podcast. We got Michael Allman here today. You're 21.
21.
That happened recently then. When's your birthday?
It was in May.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Speaking of March. Vegas is later.
So late.
26.
Yeah. Late.
Your ultimate plan is to be hopefully a professional archer.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Who would be great?
I'd love to do that. Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're running Josh Jones's first archery shop in Green Acres, Washington.
Call it the Legacy Store now.
Oh, wow. I like that.
It still does good, but the Nashville store is taking off like crazy.
It's going to be tough to compete against Nashville.
Yeah.
Which, kudos to Josh or Brandon McDonald or whoever. I'm sure Josh would like to take credit. Whoever thought to open up that shop in Nashville. Pretty big risk. Josh was pretty stressed out about it. Do you feel like the dust is settled?
I think there's still a lot of moving parts, and it's not like it's not like a solidified place yet. Like they've even had to put out Facebook posts and whatever to get local people to even know it's there, because they had a lot of his following and stuff people would travel from a couple hours away to come there, but it got to a point where they're like, okay, well, now business has kind of dropped off and it's getting close to hunting season. Why aren't people in here? And it just turned out that local people didn't know. So anyways, as soon as local people knew, I mean, they're still doing 15,000 a day, and it's into October. Their seasons have opened up, and they're doing great. So it's been great for them.
That's good. I plan to, have you been to that shop yet?
Not yet.
My goal is to get there at some point in 26. In fact, I think we're talking about maybe doing 2 elk immersion experiences, one in Green Acres and one in Nashville, hopefully at Nashville North.
Yeah.
It's going to be tricky for Josh, and it's on his shoulders, because here in Green Acres, we have how many acres of 3D targets?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. We got 50 3D targets, hills to shoot angles, side hills. Yeah. I mean, it's really nice. And you got wind. Wind is really good to practice in.
We got lots of wind. Especially I know from being up on the hill. My gym's right here, so we can do all the training. And then we can get an elk dropped off, slightly dead, just barely dead, so we can butcher it. I mean, dude, that was life-changing to be able to break down a bull, or actually it was a cow, in front of everybody, stroke for stroke.
Right.
And then just the way that it's all laid out, the guys can camp there. I haven't been to this new shop in Nashville, but like I doubt Josh has got that many 3D targets or a place to shoot. Where do you buy an elk?
Right.
In Tennessee? I'm sure they exist. Gym facilities. We might need to go down to CrossFit Mayhem. Rich Froning owns that, and he's got a bison farm and tons of buildings. Might have to hit those guys up and see if we can host it there. But we'll look into it. We'll figure it out. You're 21. You got a serious girlfriend. You're pretty serious about archery. We talked, I think, last time on the pod how you had a breakout year in indoor.
Mm-hmm.
You got 8th in the world, which to me, there's how many millions of archers and how many of us can hit a bullseye at 20 yards? A lot of us can't.
But
to
90% of people can do it. But
to do it over and over, day over day, and then get to the finals and then shoot through. And what place were you in after? Is it 3 ends?
Yeah. Well, so
I'm sorry, three
arrows.
Games.
Yeah. So one. Sorry. Yes, I see what you're saying. After 3 days, so 300 rounds. I think I was, I don't know, middle of the pack somewhere for the 900s, like 77 X's ish, maybe like 90s maximum. So it's good, not perfect. Bodie shot 89 out of 90. I mean, Bodie's a freak of nature, but
so for those, Bodie hit a dime X, which is inside the bullseye. 89 out of 90 shots over 3 days. Michael hit 77. So none of that really matters, because if you got a 900, you make it every time you're into the final shoot off, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then I don't really understand how it works from there.
Basically, they just make it so that X's are your new 10. So if you hit a 10, it's a 9. If you hit an X, it's a 10. And so it drops people out pretty quick, because now you can't, for most people that would go through and shoot, like I shot, my qualifier rounds were 26, 25, and 26X out of 30Xs.
Okay.
And so like for someone that's usually shooting 25, 26Xs, you're probably going to drop an X every 3 rounds, maybe, you know, two to 3 rounds. I don't know how I got, I guess I just turned it on in the final, but yeah, I went 8 ends without dropping one. That was fun. But I really want to talk about elk hunting. I don't know about you.
We're going to get to it. It's the time of year where I just got to commit to shoot more indoor this year. Like I personally want to shoot more indoor. So selfishly, I want to talk about it a little bit with a guy who honestly, I don't know how you did what you did, but to go to 8th means you started grooving when the pressure was the highest.
Oh yeah.
Which is a good, like, dude, that's a good sign that you're only, well, you were 20 at the time. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
That you might have a future in indoor.
Yeah.
And then also, I mean, so you got 8th, congrats. And then you also, did you dabble with ASA? Did you make it to at least 1?
Yeah, I went to 1. I actually booked flights for 2. And the second one that I was going to go to was, gosh, I can't remember which one it was. I think it was London. Kentucky. I booked flights for that one like a couple months in advance, and literally a week before, like giant tornado comes through and tears up like the whole fairgrounds where they have the shoot and everything. I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll cancel my flight. But that was going to be the only one I was going to be able to go to other than the Minden one. And Minden went fine. I just had to learn to not miss, but you know.
So are you a upper or lower 12 kind of guy?
Pretty much upper all day.
Did you know that going into Minden?
Oh yeah.
Okay. That's probably good to know. And then how good are these dudes? Like, are you shooting in a big cohort or is it just you paired with some rando? How many people are in your group?
Yeah. So it's laid out kind of interesting because you can talk to each other because you're basically the stakes are like 15 to 20 feet apart from each other and you got 4 people at each stake. So, yeah, I mean, you just rotate through and you just get paired with, on the first day, it's just kind of random. Second day, it's peer groups. So people that shot a similar score to you on the first day. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I shot plenty of 12s. I mean, like that game is not just about hitting 12s. You gotta hit 12s, but then you also gotta not lose points. So you can't bleed 5s and 8s and stuff. So I just had a couple too many of those, but it was, after I learned what I was doing and got into it the next day, I was feeling pretty good about it. There was actually one, they have a, you know, their long target now is like 60, I think it's 60 yards or 61 yards or something. Ooh. And it was a coyote, and they made this course way hard. Like apparently the I didn't go to the ASA before, but apparently people were complaining that, you know, the scores were too high and stuff, and there's a 60-yard max. You should be able to push it out a little further.
Sure. And
like 14 out of the 20 targets were beyond 50. And so it was just, yeah, just target after target, just like, oh my gosh. All right, well. And then you're dealing with weird lighting and black targets you can't aim at. Yeah, it's just, I love it. It was so fun.
I hate black targets. Is your rangefinder like black targets?
Yeah. So the Bushnell broadhead that I've got, it's the entire point of that was just to be good at getting you an accurate range for archery. It sucks when you get out to like 200-300 yards. Not very good. But if you get, you know, 200 yards and in, and then especially those really precise ones where you got to have the, you know, the decimal, but not only the decimal of it, but the angle cut, and you also got to have, whether it's a black or a white target, doesn't range it any differently. It's incredible for like, I think they only cost like $300. So
that's the one that you like?
That is the one I like right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I guess while we're talking about ASA, like the whole premise of that shoot is a whole full weekend. You get a score, and then how many do they take to finals? Is it 5? Top 5 go to the final shootout?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I ended up like 15th or 16th. Like, I mean, is pretty middle of the pack. There's apparently that one isn't usually a huge turnout. I think there was only like 30 or 35 shooters in my class for Open Pro, or not Open Pro, but Known Pro. So yeah, they just take the top 5 scores and then, go to a shoot off from there.
What's your skill set on rangefinder?
So known Pro.
Have you ever tried?
Oh, yeah, I have. I can get close, like good enough for hunting. Like if I lose my rangefinder, I'm pretty confident I can get within 3 to 4 yards.
Okay.
And with how fast I'm shooting, that's good enough to make a kill shot. So
Yeah.
yeah. And if it's inside 40, I can usually get within like 1 or 2
Okay.
most of the time.
But overall, you did at least get an ASA,
Mhm.
which was important to get that experience. Will you go back for 2026?
Yeah, definitely. And that's part of the trouble with such a late indoor now with Vegas and stuff. Like, while I love Vegas and I love the format and like indoors my thing, and people call me crazy, but I love shooting paper at 20 yards. Like, I would do it all year.
I think Bodie does too.
Yeah. That was something when I saw it was March 26th. I'm like, there are now 2 ASAs before Vegas.
Are you even going to go to those? Probably not.
Well, that's the thing is, I mean, end of March, you're going to be outside. I mean, no one wants to be. You've been cooped up indoors all year.
Mm-hmm.
And while I do love indoors and I would shoot it all year round, it's you got to get a mix in there.
For sure. I don't think Bodie's doing those ASAs that are before Vegas.
Yeah.
That's what Joel told me literally last week when I was driving home. I was talking to Joel Turner, his dad, and I was just like, hey, is that Vegas shoot something I should probably go to? And he's like, yeah, but it's super late. In fact, there's 2 ASAs prior to, and I don't think even Bodie's going to go. I don't know if Bodie's that's his final answer, but it would be hard to go back and forth, right? Like, I think you got to stay with paper.
If you have 2 bows, then it's a lot better.
Okay.
Which I do. But yeah, I mean, for a lot of people that have, I mean, these bows aren't cheap. I mean, the title's $2,100. If someone has, a $4,000 setup and then you have to completely rebuild that setup for outdoors, whether it's changing your magnification, changing your scope housing size, changing your arrows, changing your knock fit, changing whatever it may be, peep height, bar setup, whatever. Yeah, I mean, for me to get really dialed in, when I was getting really dialed in for the ASA, I was shooting every single day, and I didn't feel like I had a chance until like a couple days prior. Then I was like, okay, I finally got in the groove. My setup's working how I want it to. This point weight's working with this arrow. Like, yeah, it took a while. So, but once you get it dialed, it's usually pretty good. So if you have 2 bows that you can just kind of be like, okay, that one's set up perfect. Like my Vegas bow, the whole reason I got a second bow was because my Vegas bow got me 8th in the world, and I was like, I ain't touching that bow anymore. That bow's going on the wall.
Is it still on the wall, ready to go?
Yeah, I've been shooting it, but yeah,
What's the ATA of that one? 40?
Yeah, it's a 40.
What do you take out for outdoors?
40 as well.
Okay, gangster.
Yeah.
But they're 2 separate bows.
Yes.
So you have 2 different 40s.
Correct.
Okay, that makes sense. What size of scope do you go with for indoor?
30 millimeter, and then outdoors 40.
What
and
power?
Indoor I like 8, outdoor I like 7, because 7 you can get a lot of power, but still a little bit better clarification, so you can see a little better.
No verifier in the peep?
Yeah, I got a clarifier in both.
A clarifier or a verifier?
So a verifier
For
makes
reading
your
glasses?
pin. How do I explain this? Yeah, so a verifier, if you're looking at pins, it'll make your pins not blur. Doesn't help the target too much. It'll make your pin and the target kind of look the same.
Okay.
A clarifier, you can only use one or the other. I don't think anyone makes something you can use both. But a clarifier clears the glass so you can see the target better.
That's all you need.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I personally, a blurry pin is always a blurry pin because I don't. Yeah, that makes sense. So for those like not sure what we're saying, we look at what we're trying to hit and we blur out the pin because your eye can't focus on both, which I think most people do it that way. Some people probably look at the pin and only the pin and blur out the target. They should try the other way and see what works best for them. But that's interesting. Do you have a specific release aid that you use for indoor versus outdoor?
True ball goat all around.
True ball goat.
Yep, set up as a
Is
hot
there
button.
a better release aid?
I don't know. The only problem with that release, there's 2 problems, I should say.
Okay.
One, the hinge, you can't get it hot enough, at least for me. When I shoot a hinge or a button, it's got to be really hot, because as soon as I make any movement that this is, it's time to start working through the release, and that pin's sitting in the middle, that pin ain't going to sit in the middle forever. And so if that release is too cold, that's where you see guys that, they're just sitting there just working their release, and they're bouncing all over the place. And yeah, it's got to be hot. So if it doesn't, I'd say that's the way to go if it doesn't really bother you. But anyways, so it doesn't get hot enough for me. And
the hinge part.
Correct. And the button, while the button is great, if you run it as hot as some people do, you will wear out the sear.
That'll be fun to find out when it wears out.
I think mine's just cold enough.
Okay.
Just cold enough. Like it hasn't changed on me at all. But like Kyle Douglas, when he was shooting the true ball goat, he was switching goats. Like he was having to set up a new one like every 1 or 2 tournaments because he just runs it on the edge of just.
Same with Carter 2 Simples. I would run those on the edge, and then it seemed like every year it would last a long time. I don't shoot as much as a professional archer, but like it would happen to be it would break on course at attack, usually day 3, halfway there on my draw, and then my arrow everyone would be like, "What happened?" And I'd be like, I think I just broke its sear. So
perfect surprise shot.
Very much so. Which I eventually started just running those that not as, like you said, a little colder and no issues. There's a sweet spot, you know. Do you hunt with a hinge?
I hunt with a true ball goat as well.
And do you have it on a button or a hinge?
Button.
Okay.
Yeah, button for everything.
Button for everything.
Yeah.
I shot a video, I don't remember, somewhere, it's like recently, let's just say within 2025. I don't remember what the video was about. I remember I was indoors here, but shooting outdoors because it was windy, really windy. And I shot an index versus a button versus a hinge. And I don't even remember. Oh, it was like the Ibex from Evolution Outdoors. And I remember looking at my groups, and like, without a doubt, my hinge group was like so stacked. And I was like, I wonder if I should shoot indoor with a hinge. What's your thoughts on that?
I learned with a hinge.
Okay.
Not entirely, but like I started shooting indoor with a button, and then I actually had never even ran a hinge release before. I go to this 3D shoot, and a buddy of mine was like, "Hey, do you want to try shooting a hinge? I've got this extra hinge." And I just like the look of it, and the way it felt in my hand. I was like, "Sure." So went on the practice range and shot a couple arrows, tweaked it a little until I liked where it was. And then I ended up winning that 3D, but then I took that release and just shot it and shot it and shot it. And that was what I shot at the Vegas previously. So 2024 Vegas. But my problem with the hinge was to get it to work how I want it to work. I was pulling into it super, super hard, and I would end up leaking back pressure when I got like just super worn out.
Yeah, towards the end.
Because I'd have to put a ton of weight on my bow too, because of how much I was pulling into the bow. And I had like 25 pounds of holding weight, and it was just, I mean, it worked great. Like it shot great, but as soon as I had any little mess up, it was like, okay, well, that's a 9 or whatever. So that was kind of the whole philosophy I took to build my bow for this year's Vegas, was make it as forgiving as possible. And what that meant for me was, how light can I make this bow and still make it aim and hit where I want it to hit, where I want to hit. I like that. Because if I can make my bow super light, and I can have the same pressure the entire time and not have to pull more, like I would with a hinge. I have the same pressure because I'm shooting a button, and I just move my thumb, and then it goes when it goes. Then, yeah, I don't have to worry about stacking a bunch of weight on the bow. And so anyways, yeah, that's what I did, and it worked really well. I mean, I had some shots that just broke terrible, but because my bow was light enough and I was able to keep aiming it, it just all came back to the middle. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have quite the, you have to manage a shop, literally, but also manage professional archery. And eventually you'd like to get to the point where you're probably not managing an archery shop, you're, shooting.
Sure.
Don't you think? Mean, is that the goal?
Yes, but man, I love having that purpose every day.
Well, like Douglas has his own archery shop, right?
Yeah.
And obviously his dad helps and other people help run it when he's gone. But like I talked to a guy literally the other day who was like, yeah, man, I took my bow to Kyle Douglas's shop, and he really I just walked in there and said, Kyle, set my bow up exactly how you would set yours up. And he said, okay. I'm like, dude, do you know how cool that is to just walk to one of the best archers in the world and say, hey, will you set this up like how you would, and walk away? Like, that's pretty cool. So for you to be at Spoken Valley Archery is a game changer. You guys I talk about y'all too much, but I really think the talent is as best it's ever been at the Spokane shop, like for real. It doesn't matter who you talk to, you're going to get really good customer service. And then you guys have a lot of good inventory for such a relatively small shop.
Yeah. And it's been really great. Like us being able to carry that inventory is all because that shop has grown so much. And I mean, I don't know exactly how much we're up on the year, but like, you know, generally with a shop like that's been around forever, it's kind of, you get to a point where you don't really, you know, don't really
ceiling.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of hit your customer base, and that's, you know, that's all. But I don't know if it has to do with, you know, the changes that I've made a little, or how just maybe what Josh is doing, whatever. It's a combination of everything and what we're able to stock, but we're up on the year and it's been great. Yeah, as far as like being able to stock things, like that's all the online store. Like if we didn't have the online store, we couldn't stock what we wanted to stock. And I mean, we lose money on some things like bows. I mean, some of the bows we'll lose money on. There's a couple brands you kind of just have to carry because otherwise someone's going to go somewhere else to go try it. And so that's why we have, you know, the big sellers are always going to be Matthews, Hoyt, and then one of the other ones will have a, you know, like this year it's been Darton. Usually it's Bowtech, but this year it's been Darton. Darton sold a ton for us. But then like to have, you know, we always got to have Prime, Elite, PSC. And now we got those Truth bows that just came out, Bear, and just, you know, there's a few brands that you got to have that maybe we're not going to sell a ton of them, but they're going to make that sale. So, and yeah, that's the bows aren't what makes the money. It's always the accessories and everything else. So that's
plus, you know, I think folks need to understand service is something that you got to pay for.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just people's time and the skill development that it's taken to get. Like you think about how many bows you've put together, tuned, in just your short career working an archery shop for whatever many years, bro. You can do things so efficiently and fast compared to somebody who wants to DIY it. And I do like guys that DIY that live too far from a shop. I was one who made the shop owner, Josh Jones, I think it was 2019. I said, hey, I'm not bringing my bow to you anymore and just having you do everything. And then I walk out not knowing a damn thing. Like I'm doing it. Like, what do I need to buy? And Josh was cool. He's like, okay, get an easy green press. And like, I remember I started buying all this bow shop stuff and I got it all delivered and I started working on my bows and I'd screw it up. I'd screw something up. I'd have to call him. Thank God he had would answer my call and I'd FaceTime and be like, what did I do wrong? And it was really cool that he helped me. And those mistakes really taught me the most, like putting on strings the wrong way, like, not taking enough pictures and switching out strings on a Matthews 29 Vertex. And it's, you're like, this isn't the right. You screw things up. So, working on your own bow is so powerful, but being able to go down there. I mean, I still go down. I try to not go to your shop because if you haven't noticed, I always spend money every time I go there.
That's most customers. Yeah.
And so I'm always like trying to avoid going in there because I'll just see something. I got to have it. Which is good. We're going to take a break. I'm going to get myself a little BRCC energy drink. I'll grab you one if you want it. And then when we come back, I want to talk about two big things. The first one is your elk season. And then I want to finish the pod. You built my new bow that we're not supposed to talk about, but we're going to talk about it today when we come back. Born Primitive Outdoor is the clothing we wear, not only in the gym, but more importantly, out in the field. My favorite pant is their most affordable. It's the Terrain. My second favorite is the Frontier Light. It's a very quiet, performance-based material that has four-way stretch, articulated knees, and performs well. It has ventilation. I also wear the Ridgeline base layers, their mid layers, the Quiver, as well as their Puffy, the Tundra Light, and Heavy. They also have Windstopper jackets, and their rain gear is the only rain gear that I know that has four-way stretch. It's all performance-driven. It's not camouflage. It is, in my opinion, the best. Use our discount code ELKSHAPE to save some loot and to support us. Check out bornprimitiveoutdoor.com. What's up, guys? So Black Rifle Coffee Company, we've partnered with them because Dan loves coffee, just black. Literally and figuratively, that's my favorite flavor from Black Rifle. Their energy drinks now have 0 sugar. These are really good. Throw in your cooler, especially on those long drives to elk camp when you got to go across 3 or 4 states. Discount code ELKSHAPE20 will save you some loot. Check out their subscription where the coffee is sent to your doorstep, plus some perks. You can get some swag. That discount code will work store-wide. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-owned, and the founder, Evan, is a buddy of mine who is also a fellow bow hunting addict, specifically for elk. We love Black Rifle Coffee Company. Check them out today. As a mobile elk hunter, I'm changing locations quite often, especially on public land. Either I'm trying to find some elk or new elk, or I'm trying to just get into some good rutting action. And so changing locations, I don't want to set up and take down a camp if I move my truck almost every day. So Canvas Cutter is an awesome brand. It's a bedroll that rolls out in seconds. It's pretty dang waterproof. If it is really, really raining, you can slide it under your truck, but it takes 2 seconds to deploy. It's a really comfortable sleep on an awesome memory pad that just, you're going to get good sleep, and it's going to take seconds to set up, and you're going to maximize your recovery. Check out Canvas Cutter. Discount code ELKSHAPE will take 10% off. They have a wall tent and a bunch of other accessories. I recommend the Dominator. So check that out. Enter the discount code ELKSHAPE. Save some loot and get to being mobile, because elk are hard to find, and I want you to be into elk every day. He's the ultimate blue collar.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's just manufactured destiny for himself. And, bro, that's just rare. Like, there's just not a lot of dudes like that.
And he's incredibly good at shooting a bow. I don't know.
Pretty good.
I don't know if you knew this, but he was shooting 30Xs in the 90s. He was shooting.
I believe that.
He's got 28X, 300 rounds on his wall that he shot in Vegas, like,
yep,
with an old Martin. Like, that guy can shoot.
He can shoot.
Yeah, he's cool. He's really cool. Yeah.
Did you hunt with him this year?
Yeah, I hunted with him 2 days, I think.
So we're talking about Brian Martin, guys. His last name
Brian
Reed, who shot a Martin. Brian Reed has been on my pod.
Has he?
Many, many years ago.
Yeah.
We're finishing up year 8 of this podcast. So I've had a lot of cool people. He was one of the earlier guests, and he talked about how it's just a blue collar dude who like literally manufactured his own luck to get into sheep hunting. He's a lineman. Okay. Linemen aren't sheep hunters, right? He is. And he's like traded his guiding services to outfitters to get a tag or
trade taxidermy work. And,
yeah. He's drawn some tags that he shouldn't, raffles, things like that. Like, just very inspiring guy. And dude, all that clout's great, but he is a really, really good elk hunter.
Oh yeah.
Like really, really good.
Yeah.
So you got to elk hunt with him.
I got to elk hunt with him.
That's kind of an honor. That's a privilege.
It was crazy.
Notes?
Yeah, I did. Oh man.
What'd you learn?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say secrets of the trade.
Yeah, then don't.
But yeah, it was amazing. I mean, like, so I guess this will just start my how my season went, because this is where it got good. There's this area that I'd kind of told you about that. Anyways, I knew there was good bulls in there. And I knew there was elk in there every year, and I don't like to touch it until I know it's going to be good. And so anyways, Brian and I went in there on the 18th of September, and that was like halfway through my 1 week off that I got. So I got the 14th to the 21st or something like that. Or no, 15th to the 22nd is what it was. So it was like halfway through, and coming into that, no moon on the 20th or new moon on the 20th, I knew it should be good if the elk were where I wanted them to be. And we called in 8 bulls that day. It was awesome. It was insanely good. Called in would have been like a 330, 340 bull, but he was missing his third on his left side. But he came into like 45
broke
yards.
Off from fighting?
No, just didn't grow it this year.
Okay.
I've got 3 years of pictures of that bull, and he always has something weird going on. Whether it's like last year, he was like a 310, 320 bull, but his G2 on his right side was like 3 inches long. And then this year, no third on his left side. So yeah. But anyways, hike up the mountain. So we're like 2.5 miles in. bugle a couple different ranges, and I'm like, I never really hear elk in these spots. It's usually over here. And we finally get to where I think we might start hearing them. Bugle off one side, bull responds. I'm like, great, let's go ahead and start dropping, because you're always dropping. It's North Idaho. So we drop down and we get pretty close. And one thing I didn't know about Brian is, while he is incredibly good at killing elk, he doesn't have the best hearing. Like it's not terrible, but I was a little surprised at some of the things that he didn't hear. Like, it was just funny. It wasn't a big problem. It wasn't a detriment or nothing, but like it'd go quiet for a while. Then we'd be walking to move to a different spot, and I'd hear a bull like 300 yards away, like super close. And I'd be like, Brian. He's like, what? I'm like, did you hear that? And he's like, you heard one? I was like, so anyways, that's when I kind of learned that I had to do hand signals. There was no whispering.
You're like my nephew Riley. The guy's got sonar hearing. I don't have terrible hearing like my dad. My dad can't hear shit, but I can't hear as good as Riley. And if I ever hunt with Riley, I'm just looking at him and be like, okay, how far was that? Like, and I'm just counting on his hearing to give accurate, like, that's a 200 yards away, or dude, that's 100 yards. Okay. Same with my buddy, Jake Webb. When I used to hunt with him back in the days, his hearing was so good. And I'm just like, okay, how far? Like, I'd hear the bugles too, but these guys could tell me how far. And that's really important to judge that, to know what to do next. If you're miscalculating how far an elk is, which everyone does it every year, the classic, I thought he was further. I thought he was like 100 yards away when he was only 30, and you get busted. You know what I mean? It happens, especially in timber where the sound doesn't travel as far.
Yeah.
That tight timber that you're in, something to think about. Open country, sound travels a lot further. You'd be like, oh man, he's way further than I thought. That's all right. There's not a canopy of trees. You guys were in the thick stuff.
Yeah, and that's really something you got to know. Like, it doesn't seem like a huge deal, but it kind of is. Like, especially if you're going off of sound a lot of the time, which especially if you're, whether it's bugling in a bull or whether you're even stalking in on one or trying to intercept or something, and you're just listening to the herd. Like, my general rule of thumb for North Idaho is, if you heard the bugle, it's within 600 yards.
Facts.
If you heard it.
Yep.
If you heard what might have been maybe a bugle, you might have got in just the right spot that you're hearing it out maybe 700 yards. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if you're hearing it and you know it's a bugle, you're probably within 600 yards.
So y'all dropped in on this bull. He was the first bull you got to respond, and you guys didn't like, let's see who else is out on the other side. You just went, let's go for this one. The
only reason I did it was because I bugled and it instantly bugled over my bugle. So I was like, all right, well, this bull clearly is, he's going to be vocal. Yeah. And I didn't necessarily think he was just going to run right to us. Like, I mean, that doesn't always happen. But I knew he was going to be vocal, and that's all I cared about, because when it's that thick, it's like you got to have. If you don't have, like, North Idaho it's so fun because you can get so close. But, yeah, if you don't have that bull talking or know where that bull's going, then it's really hard to get really close. So anyways, have this one bull pipe off, drop down. Closer we get, we start hearing more bulls. So turns out there's 4 going off, and it was that big bull that I talked about. He had like just 2 cows. One of them had to be hot because he was running satellites off the whole time. And not something you really see in North Idaho very much. It was kind of...
That's a rare day, bro.
Yes, very rare. It was kind of like some sparse timber. It was actually a south slope. It was, I'd never get them in sparse timber. Like it was thick, and then you kind of drop down, and then it kind of opened up just a little bit. And, I mean, you're looking at the ground. There's no elk sign. There's no tracks. There's no droppings, no nothing. But they were there. And so we dropped down, get on their level, get our wind good. And, Brian goes over behind me. He's doing his magic sequence, and, Spike comes in to like 35 yards, and I'm like, I'm seeing and hearing too many elk. I don't want to shoot that right now. And even if I wanted to, he was moving too much. That was a high strung spike. They aren't usually that high strung. They're usually pretty dumb. And then another bull walks in, and what in the okay. Another bull walks in. This other bull that walks in, he comes in a ways. He's at like 45 yards, 50 yards, kind of behind a bush, and he just starts grazing. So I don't know. He kind of just didn't really care. I guess he was just waiting. I don't know. He'd bugle every once in a while.
But he wasn't super interested.
Wasn't super interested. But he did. I mean, he was just chilling. And sparse timber, 45 yards. I was just, I'm not picky. It was a 5 point. I wasn't going to pass that if he gave me a shot. But I just kept looking over and just couldn't have a shot. Just shot wouldn't present itself. So that bull ended up being the end of me, unfortunately, later on. But basically, I'm watching this bull grazing. The spike just walked below me and walked away. Kind of went to check out Brian, then went away. And then, so this other bull is grazing, and I'm just hearing this one bull that's, sometimes it's a good bull just from the bugle.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Especially down there.
Yeah. Sometimes you hear it and you're like, yeah, that's an older bull.
Little dinosaur vibe to it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So that was what I was hearing, and eventually I'm seeing through the timber. I just see antlers flashing, and I see cows running. I'm like, okay, he's not far, and I'm ranging. I'm like, okay, so he's probably like 90 yards.
Are you hitting that juicy, ruddy bull smell yet? That's just that stench where you're like, oh.
No,
Okay.
my wind was straight crosswind.
Okay.
And like I said, there was no elk sign on the ground.
Weird.
So, like straight crosswind, couldn't smell elk until they were right on top of me pretty much.
Okay.
This bull, great bull, I'm looking at him through the trees for like 20 minutes, and I'm seeing his tops. I'm like, man, that is a stud North Idaho bull. And he eventually comes around. He's got another bull on the other side of him. I've got that bull still grazing like 45 yards to my left. That spike had got out of the way, but his cows ended up coming into Brian's calling. Brian was over behind me. So his cows kind of come up over, and they start going down just a little bit. And that bull, I don't know if he just wasn't looking for a second, but he turns around. He's like, oh my gosh, where are my cows? So he runs over above the cows, and he looks down through the timber, sees that 5 point that's just grazing there, and he's like, you're the one that called my cows over. So he just, I'm ready to draw on him.
Oh, gosh.
And if he would have stopped anywhere, it was 45 yards, 40 yards, just open, like sparse timber. He could have stopped anywhere, and I would have him dead to rights. And he saw that other bull, and he ran that bull. I'm talking 250 yards down the mountain, like ran him. So that was unfortunate, but it was super cool.
Were you able to, so if he goes out of sight, he left 2 cows. One of them is
they came with.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
See, that's another thing that worked against you. Usually they don't. They would have stayed, let him run him off. He's coming back.
I think the reason that they ran with him was because he was above him, and so when he started running, they started running with him.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, anyways, ran him down the mountain, tried to catch up with him again, but they moved so far, and it just wasn't gonna work. It got a lot steeper really quick, and anyways, there was still another bull bugling, so we tried to get on that one and got someone close, but wasn't.
Did Brian have a tag too?
Yeah, he actually had 2 tags because he bought a tag and then got a second tag to have a B tag as well.
So he's all in on North Idaho.
Oh yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, and he ended up killing a bull the 20-something, 23rd, 24th. Called me, or he texted me at like 5 p.m. or 4 p.m. He's like, hey, I just shot one. I'm like, oh, great. How far in? He's like, 3 miles. I'm like, all right, I'll be there at like 9. So anyways.
You were able to help him pack out?
Yeah.
That's cool, man, that you dropped what you were doing. And
well, I was working. I just got off work at 6, and then I went and grabbed Kayla, and then we went over there and packed out with him. So, yeah.
He probably had it all butchered up by the time you got there, and last loads and
pretty much, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I just took hind quarter, Kayla took a front quarter, and then Brian had the head and a hind quarter. So, yeah. So it was a super cool day of elk hunting, and then that was just the start of the day. That was all before like 8 a.m.
Damn.
And so we got back up on the ridge top and went down to this other spot and bugled off. Kind of thought this was where the elk were going to be originally. I didn't expect them to be in that other spot, and had one pipe off instantly. And as we bugle and we're coming down on him, he's not moving at all. I'm like, oh, he's bedded. We can just sneak right in. So anyways, we did, snuck right in. did this whole loop around, got below him, so our wind was good. And I come around this bush and I like lean out to just see just a little bit. And I got my bow ready and everything just in case he's right there. As soon as I lean out, I just see like ears and just a head with antlers and everything just staring right through the brush. I'm like, dang it. Like, he's right there. He's camouflaged pretty good. But so he was looking straight at me. But I don't think he didn't really know. He didn't really know. These elk don't get pressured very much, the ones that I was hunting. I guess. I don't know. He didn't really know what I was because he just looked at me and then like he was looking at me for a few minutes and he kind of looked away and looked back and then he walked away and kept bugling and stayed within like 100 yards. So as that's happening, you know, he moves over a little bit, goes down to this draw. I try to go to the edge of the draw, see if I can range across. And as I'm coming up to that, I stop because I hear another elk that's like 20 yards in front of me. This bull's like 30 yards. Another one's like 20 yards. I didn't even know it was there, like in this thick alder stuff.
Yeah.
And I never even got to see the elk because as this one's coming in making some noise, taking a couple steps, then I have a 4 or 5 point just raghorn like 3 yards to my left. I'm like, oh, draw back. And he comes around a tree and I go down to aim at his vitals and I start squeezing through my release and he spins right as I shot and just barely grazed him. Like, yeah, man.
So
if I was
did you use your 50 or 60 yard pin on that shot?
Oh, just all the pins. It was just, yeah.
I love your honesty.
Yeah,
that's good.
All the pins.
Like, dude, there's like the thing about North Idaho that I've always figured out was that like a lot of your shots are 10 to 12 yards, which is crazy for people to hear. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, seriously, 8 to 12 yards is probably the average distance. And for most people, you want to use your 30-yard pin at that distance, and they don't know that until they find out. And you end up hitting them higher than you wanted. So eventually I started just walking around with a single pin sight set at 30. Seriously. Which is crazy, right?
That would cover most things.
It covers most things. So you hit one of those days where I'd only get about one of those days a year in North Idaho. So I hunted North Idaho 2001 to 2019, never missed a season. And from 2009 to 2019, I think I killed 2 bulls a year every year because I could get another tag. And I had a cabin and a shower and a meat locker and amenities. And we were just set up, and I would hunt just North Idaho for the whole seasons, you know. And I watched it kind of go in ebbs and flows, like especially early on. So were you even born in 2001?
No, 2004.
God dang it, I'm old. Bro, before you were conceived, it might have been its heyday. There was always 4 or 5 bulls in every drainage. You always had a herd bull plus 4 or 5 bulls. And the herd sizes were, between 8 to 15 cows. I'd say one of the worst years I ever experienced was probably like right around 2000, I guess it would be 2011 to 2012, 2013, right in there. Like there was a stretch where like we had no wolf management. Like you couldn't shoot wolves. But the wolves were just reproducing left and right, and the elk hadn't seen really, the elk just got smoked. And it was year-round hunting for wolves, right? Like they don't have regulations. And then it kind of started to come back when we started to build a trap, and I remember going to the wolf trapping class, I think in 2011, and like getting excited about hunting wolves and like knocking them down, and all the locals by our cabin were trappers and started to like kind of help out the elk. And then I think in 2019 was my last year hunting North Idaho, and for a lot of reasons, but mainly one, we sold our cabin. Number 2, I felt like I couldn't find a 6-point to save my life. I kept on passing on a lot of 5s and 4s, and I felt like the access in North Idaho, specifically where I was hunting, a lot of people know where I hunted, there was no like enforcement on if a road's got a gate, it doesn't mean shit to North Idaho dudes. There's always a 4-wheeler trail around a gate.
Now it's e-bikes too.
Okay,
Like,
e-bikes.
yeah, same.
And
Yeah, same thing. I ran into that
there's
this
no
year.
enforcement. There never has been. And a guy I know is the game warden up in where I used to hunt, and he's pretty aggressive. So that's a good sign. But my point of all this was like, I left it mainly because I knew what it once was, and it was just hard for me to go back knowing that it was a shadow of what it used to be. But you're giving me hope, telling me that you heard 4 bulls in a drainage. I haven't heard anyone say that. You better hold that spot dear near now. Is that your spot or Brian's
No,
spot?
that's my spot. Yeah.
Brian, that's his spot. You can't go into his spot. And Brian might listen to this. Brian, you can't go into his spot without his permission. And for new hunters, yes, that is an written rule. If I take Michael to one of my spots there and we get into elk and it's awesome, and then he goes to my spot without letting me know, without asking for permission, not communicating, we're never friends again. That's like cardinal sin. I've had someone do that to me. They know who they are. They still hunt my spot. You always have to like check. And it's just like it's just kind of an ethics thing, like an unwritten rule. So that's your spot. That's cool. How did you find this spot?
Very randomly.
Sometimes that's the best.
Very randomly. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good area. It's I don't want to give too much away, but it was.
You definitely don't describe it too well.
It was just an adventure one day, and yeah, it ended up working. But yeah, it was great. So that was the 18th. 19th went back in there, heard bugles all over the place, never got close. I guess the 18th was just that day. They were all kind of after that one cow.
Yep.
So went back in on the 19th and got called in that same spike again. And then the 20th, we should have shot that giant bull. That bull was, golly, dude. Okay, I'm going to describe the situation to you, and you're going to tell me like, yeah, that bull should be dead. So I took Kayla, I took her dad, and her dad shoots a trad bow. Leave it at that.
Okay.
So anyways, we got in on some bulls, had a couple bugles here and there, whatever. Didn't really have any luck. And then I ended up employing one of Brian's great strategies, little calling strategy. And it worked like a charm. This bull came in on a string, and it was a perfect situation. We were on top of this. We were coming up around this bull, and he was down at the bottom. We went back over the ridge a little, and he was coming up, and he was going to have to come up over the ridge to see us. He's going to have to come. That's what he was doing. He was coming up to the ridge.
That's ideal.
He was going to come look over the top to see me calling. I had Kayla set up on the edge of the ridge.
Perfect.
Tucked in a Christmas tree. I told her dad, I said, hey, just go get tucked in a tree. We had the sun on our back. I was like, don't let the sun be at your back. Get tucked in somewhere. And at first I didn't really see where he was at. So anyways, I backed up, kept doing my calling.
How far off the ridge are you? 100, 50 yards, 200 yards, 30.
40,
Good.
30.
Good.
Literally where this bull is going to come up, he's going to look over the ridge.
Yep.
And then he's going to die because Kayla's right there.
Yep.
And so anyways, I didn't see where her dad was. And so I'm doing my call, and I look back over, I'm looking through, and this bull, I mean, he bugles in the whole way, and I see her dad go full draw, and I'm like, oh, is he like right there? He didn't sound like he was right there. Shoots and hits a rock. I'm like, what just happened? I was really mad. And so I came up, and I was like, how close was he? Like, did you just shot at him, right? He's like, oh, he was huge, and he was 30 yards. And I was like, you tried to shoot 30 yards with the trad bow. You missed him clean.
How far was he from Kayla?
Like 35, 40 yards. And he was not where he should have been. He should have been more on the ridge. He was like at the edge of a ridge, and he wasn't really tucked in where he needed to be. But anyways, lesson learned for him.
Yeah.
But that bull was coming in on a string, and Kayla was probably going to have it at like 10 yards. But yeah, that was unfortunate. So that was probably the best like chance we had at killing that bull, other than when I got close. So anyways,
I do love setting up on a ridge top like that.
If you can get them to come to you.
If you can get them to dip up on any, it doesn't have to be a ridge. It could be just
little finger or something.
Anything where they want to come over and see. And a lot of times what they'll do is they'll come over and you're going to have a frontal. But if you have a caller like you were in and you call, a lot of times that elk will stare. And then rather than leaving, he will at least turn broadside to display because he knows that you'll be able to see him and he wants to show you how badass he is. And so that display will work out to a broadside shot. Like, seen it, love it. Yeah, I don't miss North Idaho. Everything you've described so far, I'm just like, yeah, like I like binoculars. I carry a spotting scope every day. I do enjoy the open elk country quite a bit. Calling in that country is way harder. It's just different. You know, you have to do things way differently. Every bull my dad ever shot that I called for him, I got to see him pull back and shoot. Like, I'm only 20 yards away from him or 30 yards, you know. In open country, you're like 50, 60, 100 yards away from your shooter. It sometimes depending on the terrain and what's going on. It's just, you can't even see what's going on, which is crazy. So you only had 2 more days left. How'd it go? That
was rainy. That was rainy. And it was, I mean, we're hearing bugles.
Yeah, they do bugle in the rain.
But they dropped down a ways. Mm-hmm. And in that country, it's like, if you're going to go after him, you're going to drop 1,000 feet. And I'm already 3 miles from a truck. And then once you get down there, if you do kill something, you're going to be coming up a cliff. And it's just, yeah. I wasn't a huge fan of dropping down in that particular area. There's some areas that'll drop down because there's like, you know, trails or roads at the bottom or cat roads or something. This didn't really have any cat roads or anything. So didn't want to drop down crazy far. We dropped down a bit, but when the bulls that we did drop in on that were close enough, as soon as we dropped in and got close, they kind of didn't really make too much noise. But yeah, it was good. I mean, honestly, I had really good elk hunting like the first like 2 weeks when I was just hunting on the weekends.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like your bugle fest or nothing, but it was like called in a lot of bulls quiet. And I brought my brother out for his first time elk hunting ever. He's never really had a huge interest in it. He finally was like, yeah, I think I'd like to come with. That'd be fun. And brought my brother and my cousin, and we went in this area that I hadn't been in like 2 years. Shot at a bull in there 2 years prior. But anyways, so came back in that area and went to kind of this other little finger I'd never made it out to before, and come up over the ridge of this finger, no elk sign anywhere. I'm like, okay, well, this might be a bust. And we come up over the ridge top, and then I finally cut a track, and I'm like, okay, well, that's a bull track. You can see the dew claws. It's pretty good track. I was like, okay, I'll set up here for a minute. That's pretty fresh. I'll just do a little calling sequence. And nothing came in for a while. We ended up moving a little bit and then kept going just a little bit. And then eventually we're like about to move, and then we just hear like some crashing walking right towards us, like 30 yards away, super thick. Can't see anything. And my little brother, he's like, he gets his phone out, his eyes are wide. I was so excited for him because he had never been that close on elk. And so that bull came in, stopped, and it had been like 10 minutes. And I'm like, man, is this bull just standing there? Did he walk away? Where did he go? And so anyways, I had just enough of a trail that without crashing, I could just kind of sneak around and just kind of look down through this little area. And I look down, I don't see anything. I'm like, okay, I think he walked off. He might still be right there. It's just hard to tell. Wind was good, so I wasn't worried about that. And we're about to start moving, and I'm whispering to Steven. I'm like, okay, I think he just moved off. Let's move around and, try to see if we can see him in a different spot. And we take like one step, and then the bull takes a step. We're like, okay, never mind. He's still right there. He's been standing there the whole time.
Yeah.
So anyways, I just couldn't end up seeing him. He wanted me to come see him. He was in this little tiny
What's
opening.
the date-ish around this?
This would have been, boy, I think that would have been
pre-September
around
12th?
It would have been between 12th or 13th, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I kind of remember one of the things I learned for where you're hunting is that if it's prior to September 12th, typically you're not going to have like a bugle back and forth type call-in. You might, and if you do, it'll be probably a shooter herd bull.
And this actually,
gathering, but
this actually wasn't that area. This was, I do not care where I'm hunting in the Panhandle if there's elk, I'll hunt there.
Yeah.
So I hunted 4 different units this year.
You got to bounce.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, historically speaking.
Yes, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I would have to be reminded every year because I'd forget because I was just expecting to have a bull answer, scream at me back and forth. I'd rake him in, whatever. A lot of these elk, the first 10, 12 days of season are going to come and check you out silently. And if you can remember that and still set up and stay patient, you won't be caught off guard. And I swear every year I forget.
Yeah.
And then I'd have...
They get sneaky.
Nothing
for
came
sure.
in, and then I'm like, dude, I called a bull in and didn't even hear him come in. You know, they're just not gonna vocalize the first couple weeks. Not always, at least. I've had some great vocalization, especially early season when I've just caught
early.
I caught a bull who's looking for cows,
or you catch a couple bulls that are figuring out who's the boss in that area.
That's the best.
Yeah,
that is the best. You kind of have those. You have lulls throughout the whole month. All in all, looking back at this September, did you feel like the elk rutted?
Yeah.
Super basic question.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, definitely.
I've had a lot of people tell me they never got to experience elk rut this year, and I'm one of them. I really didn't get into much rutting.
Yeah.
And I hunted 4 states.
I would say that like 18th to the 20th was definitely where it was just leading up to that new moon.
Yeah.
And so all the action was during the day. I mean, it was... Yeah,
I killed
that was pretty good.
The 23rd. It was a pretty amazing day, but it was also in Utah. It's private. And I did hunt Montana towards the end of September, and I caught kind of like the bull that has all the cows, and he has no satellites, and he's the man. I shouldn't say he doesn't have any satellites. None of the satellites would get close at all. Like, so maybe a cow wasn't hot, or I was just in between cows getting hot, but he had enough cows where one of them should be, but all of them kept their distance. Like, I need satellites to get frisky for my style. I like slipping in. Eventually I had to call to this bull since none of his satellites would. And he really did not like when I would call to his cows. I could almost get his cows to like kind of come towards me quite a bit, 2 different occasions. And, you got to kind of figure out what fishing lure to use if you are going to call. But you did experience the rut.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, definitely. I actually called in 3 bulls. Well, called in one of them, but had 3 bulls bugling from my yard the other night, I should say.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, I live just over the way.
I know where you live. That just doesn't make a lot of sense. They usually aren't down that low.
I actually almost called one into my yard. He was close. And I had...
You live by Crawford, don't you?
Yeah.
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 Those
yeah, they were all over the
up.
valley.
That's
and
good.
Like Jason Hunt was saying the same thing. He's like, oh, yeah, the other night I was listening on my porch. They were just bugling all over. I was like, yeah. See, I was bugling too. That was one of them was probably me.
They've never really usually there. I wonder what pushed him down. Probably hunting pressure. Or...
I don't know. I saw one September 30th. There's a bull with like 20 cows, like bunch of cows right on this hill that you come up over into Liberty Lake there.
Is there, I wonder if it's the logging, all the new logging they did that opened up feed.
I don't know. I mean, it's so much private, you can't even really hunt them.
Yeah,
but
no doubt.
Yeah. But yeah, they were there. I haven't really seen them all year.
Did Jonesy do some North Idaho elk hunting this year?
I don't know. I think he might have.
I haven't talked to him.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's the theme of my relationship with Josh Jones now is I never see him. I never know when he's home. I'll catch up when I see him. What I want to finish with is, I guess I'll be the one to say this. And tell me your thoughts. I'm going to talk to the camera. I've done this, so I would be a hypocrite if I didn't preface this. I have put tree stands up over wallows and left them there year round. Because one, it was a pain in the ass to get the tree stand to that wallow, and I didn't want to take it back down. Number two, in the back of my mind, I knew it would deter other people if they saw that tree stand. They'd be like, oh, someone's going to hunt here, which is not really cool. Now I use a saddle, so I never leave anything in or out. I'm in, I'm out. This year when I was hunting, I ran into a couple tree stands that were over water. Water was on a premium where I was hunting. I was hunting desert. Water's a premium, especially high, like really high. But there's always a tree stand over the waters. And I don't know if someone's actively hunting or not, but I literally don't want to run into people. I don't want to have an altercation. And quite honestly, not that I'm famous, but a lot of times people will know who I am or whatever. And they might think that.
They think that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Which
this
sometimes you
gotta
don't.
Be good. And there's no guarantee.
Yeah.
I hunt shitty elk places too, guys. I really do. And so that's one thing I'm kind of anti leaving tree stands out in the elk woods. I feel like with how far saddle systems have come, people should switch to that and take down your shitty 15-year-old tree stands that kind of like cock block the rest of us from hunting that water hole. Should be kind of a first come, first serve. And I don't personally want to get in someone's tree stand. And if they showed up, they'd be like, hey, can I hunt my tree stand? I'd be like, of course you can. Or I'd be like, first come, first serve. This is public domain. You left it out. I got here first. You'll have to hunt somewhere else. Like, I just don't want to have that conversation. Like, because I won't do it. I would be like, yeah, here you go. And
yeah, I guess I don't even really run into that because I don't really hunt wallows.
Oh, well, I do.
Yeah.
From time to time. And I don't like that. The other thing that you mentioned was e-bikes. I have an e-bike. Okay. I'm sure I've taken my e-bike somewhere I was not allowed to at some point, but I haven't brought an e-bike elk hunting in many, many years because the rules kind of started to become really obvious on national forests. Doesn't matter really class 1, class 2, class 3. And who cares about the differences? All these e-bikes that guys have now. I have one. I got a Backcountry mule. It's 1,000 water. It's awesome. I got extra batteries. I don't bring it, Michael, because it is the same classification as my dirt bike.
Dirt bike. And your dirt bike can go way more places.
So
if you're going to go on those dirt bike trails.
But my dirt bike makes noise.
Correct.
That e-bike doesn't. But if I can't take a motorcycle because it would be illegal to go around that gate, or it's a walk-in only, I sure as shit not going to take an e-bike, but I understand some people are like, oh, it's an e-bike. It doesn't make sound. It's not a motorized vehicle. It is.
Yeah.
And I keep hearing guys bitching to me. You're the fourth person about guys on e-bikes not following the rules. Do you think it's that they don't know the rules or that they don't give a blank?
I think it's a combination of a couple things. One of the big things is the rules on the Forest Service website. I believe, I don't know for sure, I'd have to double check. I think it says something about if it's below 750 watts, then it's considered non-motorized. But if you actually call Forest Service and say, hey, can I take an e-bike behind this gate? They will say we treat it just like any motorized vehicle. No, you cannot.
Right.
So that could be part of it, is just having an actual blanket clarification that all electronic bikes, if they have a motor, that's an electronic bike, it has a motor in it. It's an electronic motor, so it's quiet, but it's a motor. Yeah, if it's got a motor, it's a motorized vehicle. So I think e-bikes still have a place for sure, like for North Idaho, but if I had an e-bike, I'd just cruise around on the main roads quiet and just listen for bugles. That's what I would do.
Honestly, that's the best way. I've used my e-bike in North Idaho. I'm on logging roads that a four-wheeler could go on or a dirt bike, and I'm literally just cruising along spring bear.
Yeah.
With the wind in my face.
Yeah.
and I'm going around grassy logging roads, and I literally have ridden my bike to 40 yards from a bear, didn't even know I was there, parked, got off, got my backpack off, got my bow out. You know, I've literally done that. So, but the pedal assist, dude, most of these e-bikes come out of the same factory, and it ain't in the States. They got the same components. It's a pedal assist 1 to 5. So as you pedal, the motor assists you.
Mhm.
You got throttle. I could throttle all day on mine and not wear out the battery. And then you have these class 1, class 2, class 3 where, oh, if you take the throttle, if you turn the throttle off, it's now a class 2. Or if you take the pedal assist down to a 1, it's so nuanced. And so to call someone and say, well, my wattage is only the, dude, I think everyone on an e-bike needs to realize that it's kind of like a motorcycle. It just doesn't make a noise. And that you can't go. I ran into a guy last year who got like tickets from his e-bike. He didn't know. He was going around a gate that everyone was having to walk in, and he got caught by the Forest Service Ranger and the game warden, and each one of them wrote a ticket for different things. So, yeah, the e-bike thing, every year I keep hearing about it. I don't want guys to get in trouble. I don't want people to think that I don't like e-bikes. I have one. I really like my e-bike for whitetail hunting. Getting to a tree stand in stealth mode is phenomenal.
And fast too.
Oh,
you
so
can
efficient.
cover country, and yeah, I ran into that this year because I think I was telling you I had these great bucks I had on cell camera all year, like all summer. They stayed in this area all year. August 29th had this like 150, 160 inch, just great buck hitting the scrapes, and I go in there August 30th, and yeah, just they weren't in there, but that like mile walk I could have done in 2 minutes if I had an e-bike and got in there completely silent. Well, yeah.
Because mine doesn't get that a lot of use. I use it for whitetails mainly where legal, and that's about it. But yeah, that's the tree stands left on public. I kind of get grumpy about that, but I understand it because I've done it. And then the e-bike thing, I think some people just don't know the rules.
Yeah, where I've left tree stands, I've only done it once. Is where I set up a tree stand in like October, and then by November I physically can't get to it because there's too much snow.
Yeah,
and then
yeah, no,
so what? I'll pick it up in the spring, and then I do.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's
why I love saddle hunting now.
Yeah, I got a Latitude saddle too.
You did?
Yeah,
it's the best. So
it's pretty nice.
You pretty much you don't have to worry about that nonsense. Next time you come on, I'm gonna make it a next time, a part 2. You built my bow for me while I was gone because I left August 27th. I don't know when that bow arrived. We're not gonna talk too much about it.
Early September, yeah.
And I called. I think I might have hurt Josh's feelings, but I knew he was gone. I was like, hey, I know Michael actually lives here. I'm gonna have him set up that bow for me so that either one of my friends or my camera guy can meet up with me later in the year and bring that to me. And that's what happened. So we'll do a part 2. We'll talk about you working on the new bow, what you saw, what you liked, your observations, because I want to get you to be a little more regular on this pod anyways, man. So
yeah, and I do got a good story about your bow too. People are going to want to hear. may or may not have royally screwed things up on it.
You recovered well, and we'll tell that story next time, guys. This is Michael Allman. What's your Instagram handle?
I think it's Michael Allman Archer.
Archer, that's what it is. Have you started a YouTube channel yet?
I have.
What is it?
It's same thing, Michael Allman Archer.
Make sure you guys, I'll leave a link to both. Riley, leave a link to both. And we want to get, I want you to keep growing.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
It would be great.
My shorts have done good, the YouTube shorts, but
Long form's hard.
Yeah.
I haven't published a long form piece in several weeks. That's not like me, but I just don't want to just throw something up there to throw something out there. I would just wait until I have something that's good. I finally found it, so I'm going to film it when you leave, and it has nothing to do with archery, but it's a good one. So
it's
about meat care and fish bags.
Everybody needs that.
Versus big coolers. So I did some experimenting this year. Instead of bringing like a Yeti 210 or, in my case, a knockoff brand, you have to bring 2. I just brought fish bags, and I tried several different fish bags. So between the 2 different bowls, I used several different fish bags and kind of learned some stuff. So I'm going to showcase that today. It'll be cool. Kind of like a review, really.
Cool.
Unbiased too.
Yeah.
I like that when I don't have a sponsorship deal figured out. Like none of that. It's just straight up. These are my observations, and people like that too. So
Yeah, definitely.
that's cool. All right, man. Well, enjoy the rest of your day off. Thanks for coming here on your day
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, thank you.
I'm glad that you got some good memories. Elk hunting's hard.
Yeah, we'll talk about your elk hunting next time.
Yeah.
We only got to talk about mine. You probably had a better season than I did.
Not by much. So. All right, guys. Separation's in the preparation. We'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.